Hello everyone and welcome back to my English space. Today we are going to talk about solutions, control, and power, and hopefully help you to improve and expand your vocabulary related to this topic. Because as long as there are problems in the world, so there has got to be a way to solve them and to be in control of them. So with this said, let's get us started. But not before, I invite you to take a moment to subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button down below, and also press on the notifications bell icon so you never miss a lesson. Thanks, and let's get down to it. Let's start with expression number 1, get to the bottom of something. Mind the pronunciation here, get to the bottom of something. That flap T should be pronounced nicely and smoothly. So it means to try and solve a situation by finding out its real cause, because that's what I think is the most important thing here, to find the real cause of a problem and to nail it down. Well, you know how it happens, how it sometimes happens to get sore eyes because of spending too much time in front of the gadgets, and suddenly what you do, you find yourself making an appointment with an ophthalmologist, and that is not exactly what you're supposed to do if you want to nail this down. So you should try and find out its real cause. So what's behind your sore eyes and where the pains are coming from. Number 2 is to get or come to grips with. Come to grips with something. And it means to consider something carefully and eventually start to deal with the situation. Sometimes in people's homes there is this problem like a dripping tap, which gets so annoying, and finally you start to get to grips with it, and of course you get to call a plumber and get it fixed. Does it happen to you to get a dripping tap that gets on your nerves and you get to grips with? Of course you do. I'm sure you do. Number 3 is a phrasal verb, to iron out. Iron out, mind the pronunciation also, or to sort out. To sort out, which means to successfully deal with a problem or a situation, with a difficult situation, or trying to remove the last remaining difficulties of it. The case here might be with an important event in someone's life, like the organization of a wedding, where there's so many things to get done and to get sorted out, but some details might be pushed to the back burner. And when those are tackled and eventually ironed out, everyone feels so relieved. Also, we can use iron out with in a metaphorical way, in a figurative meaning, meaning to sort out some differences. So now that the differences between them have been ironed out, everyone was happy and pleased. Can you use this phrasal verb, iron out, in a sentence of your own? Remember that making it personal, making this kind of grammar or vocabulary, English in use, practical and personal, personalizing it is much better and of course much more effective. The next expression that I have for you is things come together as planned. Come together as planned, and if things come together as planned, it means that it's different parts combined, making it good or effective. And so is the case of a career change, for example, and this is a big step. We all know it probably, and that calls for all of our attention in the moment. And with all that, there might be times when things might not come together as planned because there's so much to think about. Well, another similar phrase or expression might be to fall into place. Fall into place. Also be mindful of the pronunciation. If you want to say it fast, in fast pronunciation, everything is blended together. So fall into place. And it means to fit together or to stay the same. It also refers to events happening naturally so that they produce the desired result. And I'm also thinking here of a life-changing situation when with moving house this time, when it can get pretty tiring, but after some time you get to see the results and everything falls into place. And of course, everyone having gotten the desired results feels so pleased and so happy with the jobs they've made. I'll further explain this to you with the example of a new house that you've just moved into, and you've just put a big heap of personal stuff and furniture in the middle of the living room. But how will that look like in a day or two or even a week? Of course, you'll get to see that arranged, and every item and object will get to occupy its space, and so everything will fall into place. Yeah, like the TV will be on its table, and the flowers will be on the windowsill, and so on. So everything will fall into place, and your living room will get to have a neater aspect. The next expression is to hold or keep something in check. Hold, keep something in check, or under control. It means to limit or restrict something, like a challenging situation. For example, before an exam, but particularly during an exam, you'll have to keep your emotions in check. So make sure you keep your emotions in check. And another example here would be with physical things. Trying to go have a holiday and with low costs is quite impossible, because trying to keep the holiday costs in check is a real challenge in itself, I think. Have you ever experienced this, and how has it felt? Or how have you sorted it out? How have you ironed out? The next expression is to have the upper hand. Have the upper hand, which means to have control and more power even, or even an advantage over a person or situation. I'm thinking here of that scenario where a mother is having the upper hand over her daughter, trying to influence her in her decision of applying to the university, of getting into the university that she wants, based on the wrong decisions that she made in the past. And so she's having an upper hand. She's having this advantage over her daughter and not letting her decide for her own educational course. Now, can you tell me about a situation in your life where someone else had the upper hand? Let me know here in the comments. The next expression I have for you is to hold the reins. Hold the reins is to successfully control something that can be hard and challenging. And my example here is she took over the business from her father 25 years ago, and she's been holding the reins well for over a quarter of a decade. And what I mean by that is that everything, the business is successful and going well. Be or stay on top of your game. So stay on top of your game, which means to be doing your job well, or performing or doing some action at one's highest level, or be as good as one is likely to get. And an example here might be the one in which a student has been working hard and being consistent, having been consistent with his math study, let's say, for throughout his college, and particularly now at the end of the college, when he's about to have his exam, his final exam, he's particularly on top of his game. So what I mean is that he hasn't learned in ups and downs, and that can show in his results. And particularly now he's doing the best he can, so much so that he'll successfully pass his exam, his terminal exams. Next, we've got such a beautiful expression, and I particularly love it: to be in the driving seat. To be in the driving seat of your life, sometimes they say. And like you can imagine, it is, if you are in the driving seat, you are in charge of the car, you are the driver, and you do things according to your knowledge, and you are the main actor and performer, of your life, metaphorically put, with this expression. So you can say that after a while, after she's been through a lot of misfortunes, Lucy is now in the driving seat of her life, and she's in charge of everything going on in her life. She's no longer worried that she might listen to other people's advice and, guidance. She's in the driving seat of her life eventually, after such a long time. And finally, the last one, we've got a verb to spearhead. Spearhead, mind that it is formed from two parts. It is a compound verb, and it means to be in charge of a situation, to lead it. It means to lead an action or a situation. And I'm thinking here of the organization of a holiday and how daunting this can get, particularly if it's not a package holiday that you go and have organized, by an agency. It's something that you organize it yourself. So it can be a big deal after all if you don't take all the details into account. So it's usually my husband that spearheads the accommodation, because the transport part, that is down to him as well. He's the driver, and I'll be his co-pilot. So he'll spearhead the accommodation most of the times, because he does the researching part online while watching TV. So he'll spearhead that every time we're organizing our trips. Who'll spearhead the accommodation or the transportation in your case. And with this said, we're done, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video. And also, have gotten to learn a lot of things, if not just revised some of them. So be sure to personalize your learning by building sentences with most of the expressions here given by me. And thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. I'll see you again next time here on my English Space. Bye for now.